The highway was hungry. It stretched endlessly through the darkness, a black ribbon of asphalt winding through a world that no longer felt real. The stars above were distant, cold, indifferent. The road signs whispered names that didn't exist on any map. And somewhere, buried deep within the fog, something waited. No one ever meant to drive this road. They just found themselves here. Tires humming against the pavement, eyes growing heavy, time slipping through their fingers like sand. But the highway didn't let go. Not until it had taken everything. Let's begin a chilling horror story that will make you think twice before driving alone at night. The highway stretched out like a dark ribbon, unfurling into the endless void of the night. It was the kind of road that swallowed light, where the stars above seemed too distant to matter. There were no streetlights, just the dim glow of Alex's headlights cutting through the abyss. Alex had been driving for hours. His hands clenched the wheel, knuckles white. The road signs had long stopped making sense, pointing to places he had never heard of. The GPS flickered in and out, whispering static-laden nonsense. His car was the only one on this stretch of highway. He hadn't seen another soul for miles. Then, the fog rolled in. It came fast, spilling across the asphalt like ghostly fingers reaching for him. The headlights could barely penetrate its thickness, and the silence that followed was unnatural, as if the world beyond the fog had ceased to exist. Then he saw her. A lone figure stood by the side of the road, partially obscured by the mist. A woman, her head slightly tilted, her dress swaying as if caught in an invisible current. She wasn't facing him. Alex felt the icy grip of fear slither up his spine. Every rational part of his brain screamed, "Keep driving." But his hands had already slowed the car, an instinctual guilt overriding his sense of dread. He rolled down the window. "Do you need a ride?" No answer. She turned. Her face was wrong. Not disfigured, not monstrous. Just wrong. As if the features had been put together by someone who didn't quite understand how a human face should look. Her eyes were dark pits, too large, too deep. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Alex's breath hitched. He didn't remember opening the passenger door. But suddenly, she was inside. The car felt colder now. Alex dared a glance at his new passenger. She sat perfectly still, hands folded in her lap, staring ahead. Her dress was old-fashioned, almost Victorian in style, the fabric strangely damp. "Where are you headed?" Alex asked, forcing his voice to stay steady. She didn't answer. Instead, the radio crackled to life. The station was dead air, laced with faint whispers. Many voices overlapping, whispering things he couldn't understand. Then, one voice rose above the others. "You shouldn't have picked her up." Alex slammed the radio off. The woman smiled. And that's when he realized her reflection wasn't in the rearview mirror. Alex's foot pressed the accelerator. He needed to get off this road, but the highway stretched forever. No exits, no signs, just an endless ribbon of blacktop dissolving into the mist. His phone had no signal. The time on the dashboard flickered erratically. 2:31 a.m., then 4:16 a.m., then 1:05 a.m. The woman still sat there. But now, she was closer. No longer in the passenger seat. Now, she was in the back seat, directly behind him. A whisper brushed his ear. "You've been here before." Alex's breath came in ragged gasps. His hands tightened on the wheel. He slammed his foot on the brakes. The car spun, and when it stopped, he was back at the beginning of the highway. A shadow moved across the road. Alex barely had time to react before figures emerged from the mist. Dozens of them, all standing by the roadside watching. Their faces were blurred, like static on a broken TV. Their mouths moved silently. His headlights flickered. And then, they were inside the car. They filled the back seat, the passenger seat, the floor, the dashboard. Faces pressing against the windows, mouths opening in silent screams. One of them leaned close, their breath cold against his ear. "Drive." Alex's foot hit the gas. The figures vanished, but the woman remained. She was smiling wider now. Alex gritted his teeth. He had to wake up. He had to get off this road. But the highway had no end. And now, he could hear the whispers inside his head. "Welcome back." Then, finally, An exit sign loomed ahead. Alex's heart pounded. He swerved toward it, tires screeching, and the road disappeared beneath him. He was falling. Falling. Then, impact. When Alex opened his eyes, he was back in his car. But something was different. The windshield was cracked. The radio was dead. His body felt heavy, cold. He turned his head. The woman was gone. So were the figures. Only the fog remained. And then he saw it. His own car, wrecked and burning on the side of the road. A group of police officers stood nearby talking. A paramedic pulled something from the wreckage. A body, covered in a sheet. Alex stumbled toward them, shouting, but they didn't hear him. He turned, looking into the cracked side mirror of his car. And there he was, sitting in the driver's seat, eyes blank, skin pale, a lifeless reflection. Alex was still on the highway, and he always would be. Somewhere down that endless stretch of highway, another car approached. A lone traveler, driving through the mist, and by the side of the road, a man stood, his head slightly tilted, waiting for a ride. The road never ended. Alex never left the highway. His body was found in the wreckage, lifeless and cold, but his soul remained trapped, just like all the others before him. The highway had claimed him, woven him into its endless loop of lost travelers and forgotten souls. Now, he was part of the fog, part of the whispers, part of the waiting. And sometimes, when the mist thickens and the road stretches just a little too long, a driver will see a figure standing by the roadside, head slightly tilted, motionless, waiting. Alex doesn't remember how long he's been there, but he knows one thing. Someone always stops, and somewhere in the fog, a car rolled to a stop again. The driver, weary and unaware, squinted through the mist at the figure standing by the roadside. A man, head tilted, motionless, waiting. The driver hesitated, fingers hovering over the door handle. And then, from the back seat, a whisper. Soft, cold, too close. Don't pick him up. The engine died. The headlights flickered out, and the highway swallowed them whole. The highway was hungry. It stretched endlessly through the darkness, a black ribbon of asphalt winding through a world that no longer felt real. The stars above were distant, cold, indifferent. The road signs whispered names that didn't exist on any map. And somewhere, buried deep within the fog, something waited. No one ever meant to drive this road. They just found themselves here. Tires humming against the pavement, eyes growing heavy, time slipping through their fingers like sand. But the highway didn't let go. Not until it had taken everything.